Stop F1. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me. I appreciate that. Today, we are going to get into some F1 news. You don't know already. It's been a crazy couple of weeks. Well, crazy few months, I guess, with the whole Adrian Newey thing. Obviously, yesterday, we let everyone know about the rumor. Well, I say let everyone know like it was me. Obviously, it wasn't me, but it was very clear that the rumors coming out of Aston Martin were from F1 was that Adrian Newey is going to sign with Aston Martin, which set F1 ablaze. But now we're getting the news from Ferrari as to why that news didn't happen. So I'm just going to tell everyone that I'm live now. Boom. And I'm going to let you guys know because it's been a weird one with Adrian Newey, right? Everyone thought when he left Red Bull, he was going to go to Ferrari. That was the biggest transfer news that was coming out of that. It almost seemed like a done deal. It almost seemed like it was absolutely on the cards that he was going to go to Maranello. He was going to link up with Lewis Hamilton, who he hasn't been able to build a car for in all of his years. He's built for the greats. Like he's built for names of who he's built cars for. He's done it. And he's always said that Lewis Hamilton is one of the drivers that he would love to build a car for. So with Lewis going to Ferrari, there was the assumption that Adrian would end up going there, but that hasn't happened, and news has come out today as to why. Let's go to the chat. Big up, Ali. Hey, yo, man like Nash. Love, bro. Mary, good evening to you too, my dear. Long-time supporter. Appreciate you, my dear. Remember when we were on the chats, on Spaces, on Twitter, back in the day. Big up to you, Mary. And Asaf as well, long-time supporter. Big up to you as well. If you're watching and you're not subscribing, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 5,000. I think we're like 170 off. We're so close to 5,000. But big up all the new subscribers. Big up all of the people who support us. It's super, super appreciated. But let's get into it. So the news coming out of Maranello, or the news coming out of Italy, is that although negotiations started over a year ago, they did not come to fruition, and these are the reasons why. And the reasons why seem to be because of one Fred Vasseur. What's up? Oh my God. I hate it when you open an article and you're just bombarded with ads. Like, really and truly, I'm not going to like your product if your shit's got fucking unwanted noise. Like, that's ridiculous. Anyway, back to the live stream. And right, let me get it on now. Right, here we go. Aston Martin, Adrian Newey, here we go. Fred. So it seems like it was a power play from Fred Vasseur, who blocked the move for Adrian Newey. Ferrari is said to have offered him as much money as Aston Martin did. And I think we know with Ferrari, money is no object, okay? These guys will make it rain anytime, any place. They've given Lewis Hamilton, I think they're saying 120 million euros per year. Huh? How crazy. 120 million euros per year they've given Hamilton. It's not an issue for money. So the money wasn't an issue. Moving to Italy wasn't an issue either. They seem to have an accord on that. It seemed to be that everything was going exactly the way that they wanted it to go. However, the demands of Adrian Newey seem to have not gone down well with Fred Vasseur, who is said to have blocked the move for various amounts of reasons. One of them is that essentially, according to Autosprint, which is a Italian publication, they're happy to match the wage demands, but he wanted decision-making powers. Decision-making powers. So what does that mean? That means essentially he wanted to be able to veto anything that Fred Vasseur wanted to do in terms of hiring technical people. So if Fred wanted to hire someone for the backroom staff, Adrian Newey wanted the power to say no. the allocation of roles. If Fred Vasseur wanted to do a little restructure within the back end of Ferrari, Adrian Newey wanted the right to be able to say, no, that's not going to happen. I mean, guys, I'm not going to lie to you. That seems pretty fair from Fred Vasseur. If you're the team principal and you have someone working underneath you, surely it's not going to work if you have someone beneath you who's able to veto your decisions and basically make decisions on the makeup of your team based on what they want, even though you're technically their boss, right? That is a power struggle waiting to happen. And we know in Red Bull that Adrian Newey wanted more power. Adrian Newey looked at Christian Horner getting all of the praise for everything that had happened. But Adrian Newey said, hang on, all of the championship winning cars, who designed them? Me. Who brought the groundbreaking designs, the groundbreaking ideas? It was me. And as much as people have tried to rubbish that since, saying he doesn't do much of the work, is now Pierre Wache or Wash. I need to know how to pronounce that. The fact of the matter remains, he is the guy who has designed all the championship winning cars, and he wanted to leave to somewhere where he would have more power. Ferrari is probably not the place where that's going to happen, right? Because Ferrari are a massive organization. They've got Fred Vasseur in there. His task is to bring Ferrari back to prominence. Yes, Adrian Newey would be the final or one of the pieces of the, like one of the cogs in the engine to bring that revival back. But we have to be honest here. That does seem like a lot. What are you guys saying? Lulu saying I have ad blockers, but they don't seem to work. But I will definitely do that. Ali, Mike Elliott redemption arc, and we will get to that in a bit. Lulu, honestly, I never thought Adrian would go to Ferrari. Not going to move to Italy. But I guess he had $100 million to do so. Like, why wouldn't he? I mean, Maranello's gorgeous. Like Maranello, Milton Keynes. Maranello, Milton Keynes. Like, I know which one I choose, for real. Like, I'm just being honest. Mary, Lewis only leaving Mert because Shady Toto broke his promise to Nicky that Lewis would be an ambassador. Yeah. I mean, look, it's crazy that potentially, I think Toto said that he would offer Max Verstappen, or they would offer Max Verstappen Mercedes ambassadorship. They haven't given it to Lewis. I've seen like David Coulthard in Mercedes adverts, and he's still like driving old cars and involved in the team in some way because of his relationship with Mercedes from the McLaren Mercedes days. So for Mercedes to not offer Lewis Hamilton ambassadorship, given everything he's done for that team, is crazy, and hence why he's gone to Ferrari. But speaking of Adrian Newey, here we go. So they are said to be exploring the option of signing Mike Elliott. So as you know, Mike Elliott was the guy who was a very key person in the Mercedes team in terms of the aerodynamic department. You know, he was involved in all of the championship winning cars, essentially promoted once James Allison took what we now know as a sabbatical, essentially, went to work on the boats. Mike Elliott came in and his reputation was stained by the W13. And let's not beat around the bush. That was a 2-pack of arse. Okay? Respectfully, that car was cheeks. Plus the decision after that to pursue with the concept post 2022 into 2023 because of the win for George Russell in Brazil. Obviously, that didn't work. They had to bring James Allison back. And within that, they've now started to move forward. So people obviously think of Mike Elliott in that sense, but he's still very much respected. And this marks a very different way of going about business from Ferrari. Ferrari normally hire from within. Binotto, famously, as someone, you can go back like 20 years nearly, and you'll see Binotto standing in the garage with Michael Schumacher. Like, he rose up from the bottom in Ferrari, became team principal, and only really hired within. Even previous team principals would only really hire from within. Fred Vasseur's come in and he's starting to hire from all over the place. The word on the road is he wants Mike Elliott. We'll see. And look, that's probably an easier person to be able to make work in your own ways, to do what you want him to do, won't come in with crazy demands. So we'll see. We'll see. But Mike Elliott redemption arc could be there. Could be there. Oh my God, sorry. One thing to consider, do we trust what Ferrari is saying? They've lied before, so maybe they just want to save face, and Adrian has said no. Very true. Oh, the thing is, I'd find it funny if they would throw Fred Vasseur under the bus like that. But I guess, you know, it's perfectly acceptable for Fred to not want to give in to those demands. And the fact that it's Italian press, obviously this has come from somewhere within Ferrari. So it's a league that they've probably, this is the thing that we need to realize with F1 press, football press, any kind of press. We need to realize that when stuff gets said, a lot of the time, guys, it's being leaked by the teams. Remember when the Lewis Hamilton news came out? Ferrari didn't leak it. Lewis didn't leak it. Who leaked it? It was Mercedes, Toto Wolff maybe, because they were caught on the back foot. So they put it out so that Lewis couldn't have the way to announce it the way he wanted to. It could be very similar with Ferrari, leaking this news now so that they can save face. And I wouldn't be surprised about that. I wouldn't be surprised about that at all. So we'll see. We'll see about that. Asaf, okay to ask personal questions. The house move. Okay, I'll touch on that later for sure. Another piece of news coming out today. Guys, do you know, like, I always wondered, where did all the Helmut Marko quotes come from? Like, every other day, there would be a Helmut Marko quote. And I never quite understood, like, why he always had a microphone near his mouth. Well, today I have found out that he actually has a column of his own where he writes about Red Bull and everything going on. The column is with, let me get it up now. It is with I think it's an Austrian outlet. Here we go. So Helmut Marko has basically opened up on why they wanted to keep Sergio Perez, right? And we've all wondered, like, why has he decided to keep Sergio Perez, right? Like, honestly, he's cheeks, yeah, right? Like, if I had to have a sound for Sergio Perez, it would be, here we go. Like, awful driver. But they've kept him, and everyone's kind of wondered, why is that case? Like, why has he done that? And it seems like he's come out and said why. So he's come out and said essentially that the Liberty Media rumors are not true. Okay, so if you heard, there was a rumor that Liberty Media said that they wanted to ask Red Bull to keep Sergio Perez purely because they were scared for what they would lose in revenue at Mexico. And to be honest, given that Mexico was already sold out, people were a bit, do they really believe that? Is that the case? But of course, people can fucking sell their tickets, people can like protest, etc. So I do get that. I do get that. But they've actually come out and said that the decision primarily was for stability, essentially. So they believe that Sergio's not been given the tools. Obviously, he's struggling with the car in the same way that Max is struggling. Well, not struggling, but not doing as well. But obviously, it's worse for Sergio. So it's better for them to essentially try to help him become faster, then get a new driver in, have them get comfortable with the car. So he says he's repeatedly shown good performances in between and was also very Saturday at the last race weekend in Spa, finishing third. I believe that's qualifying. He was allowed to start in second, and according to the calculations, third would have been possible, but we saw that his tires degraded significantly more. He couldn't push, and it was also the fact that we only had 2 sets of mediums, and on one set of the hard compound, while everyone else had 2 sets of hards. and one set of the medium tyres available. That was perhaps a crucial point. So they've asked him to not become faster, just more consistent. And given the alternatives, he is the best solution. I mean, that's it. Like, look at the options. Daniel Ricciardo, no matter how people try and dress it up, in the last 5 races, he's done well against Yuki. Yuki had a DNF and a 60-place grid penalty. Like, he started in Hungary when we went to Belgium, okay? So 2 of those last few races shouldn't even count. If you take those out, they're pretty much equal. Then you take into account the beginning of the season. Daniel Ricciardo, not good enough. Liam Lawson, not done any real driving for ages. Young driver, don't want to feed him to the wolves. Likely they're going to put him into RB next season. So no point. Who else can you bring in? They're not going to take Hadjar out of F2 whilst he's doing well. Let him finish that. Their only option was to keep Sergio and to persist with Sergio. And if that's the case, then I kind of get it, to be honest. I'm not one of those people that are saying just bring Daniel in and see what's going to happen. It could be worse. Let's be honest. We saw what Lando Norris did to him. Who's to say that won't happen again with a better driver in Max Verstappen? So for me, I just think keep him in there. Hopefully he just keeps being an absolute bum because it's hilarious, guys. I'm not going to lie. It's so funny. Watching a Red Bull struggle literally gives me endorphins. It's so good. And it's just going to get worse. The car's getting worse. They can't update it as much. The engines seem to be knackered. The team, everyone wants to leave the team. Wheatley's left. Newey's left. Key personnel are leaving. The 2026 engine looks like it's going to be cheeks. Oh, I prayed for this and I got it. And I'm so happy. So let's see what happens from there. Vlad, hello, long-time viewer. Thank you for catching us live. Really appreciate it. Thank you for everyone tuning in. Honestly, it's crazy doing this again. I remember we did this on Twitch and it was very scary. So to see some of the same guys back and new people is awesome. Lulu, still not sure how we sure Ferrari didn't leave the Lewis story. I just feel like they'd want to have more of a handle on it than they did. And I feel like it coming out in the press before kind of maybe forced their hand into maybe revealing it slightly earlier than they wanted to. Lewis only told people that he was leaving, he told his brother the day before, I think it came out. So very close people to Lewis and Ferrari didn't know until the day before it got leaked. So I feel like they would have wanted to announce it in their own time, but they weren't allowed to. In the same way that Red Bull just came out and said Jonathan Wheatley's leaving. All now, have we seen an announcement from Audi? Have we seen a personal statement from Jonathan Wheatley? Red Bull got ahead of it and did it in their own way. And that's kind of how teams work. Mary, question. Have you noticed since Red Bull banned Newey from meetings, Max not guaranteed to win, and Red Bull have had to dip the stuff about Honda and Newey announced he was leaving? Look, something is obviously not right at that team, and people are leaving, and the car's not going as well. I feel like you have peaks and troughs as teams. You have to remember, Red Bull won 4 on the trot. Then we go into new regulations. They have Honda engines, then Renault engines. They're nowhere. And then 2021, Honda sorted it out for them. They come back and then, they're on this rise. And, at some point it had to stop. It was never going to go on forever. But I don't think what's happened recently. And look, remember Jos Verstappen coming out and saying what Christian's doing is going to destabilize the team. The team is going to implode. We had Red Bull staff coming out and saying, well, Adrian Newey doesn't do that much anyway. Christian Horner came out and said that. Adrian Newey didn't like that. He was quite salty about Jonathan Wheatley leaving, saying, well, the salary he wanted was so much that, well, now I can buy a few more engineers. So I just think they're going to be in a transition now, especially like next season. We'll see how good McLaren are, how good Ferrari, obviously Mercedes. It's going to be a four-way battle for the title. It could be like 2012. Like we could be in for an incredible season if, you know, the races since like Miami or anything to go by. So I just think they're in transition, and they could be in transition for a while. As an Arsenal fan, we were in transition for how long? Like 20 years, for fuck's sake. Like these things happen. Dynasties don't last forever. Mercedes, who would have thought 2022, 23, 24, until like the last 5-6 races that they would be this bad. So these things happen. And I just think it was potentially going down, but all of the drama hasn't helped it at all. Oh, can you guys, am I still buffering? I'm actually on Ethernet as well. I swear to God, the fucking internet up here. Can you guys still see me? Can you see me? No, you can't see me. Oh, all good. Okay, cool. So what other questions we have here? Seem all good. That's all good. Chris, do you think Ferrari downfall as of late could be because they've started to focus on next year? I think the Ferrari downfall is because they brought upgrades and the upgrades didn't work. And if you look at Ferrari, I think they've struggled to develop a car over the course of a season for a while. Obviously, I guess towards the end of last season, to be fair, they were a bit stronger, but they could be focusing on next year for sure. But it's always worrying when you bring upgrades and they don't work. And I think that's a worrying thing. And I think that's why they're looking to bring in a chief technical officer, because what they have at the moment, we have to remember, I think someone's left Ferrari and Fred Vasseur has taken over that job. I can't remember who. So they're slightly understaffed at the moment. They still haven't got that structure there that they would probably want post Binotto. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're already concentrating on next season. I think Ferrari, out of the big four, though, that team are definitely concentrating on next year because they're nowhere in the championship. Nothing's really going to happen for them. So why not start next year? Especially with Lewis coming, they want to start strong. You know, all the press that they're going to have, all of the attention that someone like Lewis going to Ferrari, whether you rate him or not, the news that's going to generate and the eyes that's going to be on Ferrari from around the world, they're going to want to start strong next year. And if they don't, the stories that will follow from that are not going to be pretty. So it wouldn't surprise me if they're going to start working on next year's car. But I think most teams from this point probably have at least 30 to 40% on next year's car. So we'll see. So I've got the driest mouth, guys. Apologies. Not used to talking for this long. Used to like Tandy being able to yap for me. So apologies. Vlad, next year's car is an evolution of this, so teams need to make sure that this year's car is a good platform. Exactly. And I guess they'll still need to learn and like build on what they've got. So it wouldn't surprise me if you don't see a few more upgrades, but probably not an incredible amount. So lack of wine. I know, it's sober now. Just water. Just water these days. So I guess, look, I think that's all the news. So I guess, Asaf, to answer your question, how did I find the move? Hard. I was a bit lonely, a bit scared. And that's why I probably didn't have a very healthy lifestyle in terms of drink and other things. And yeah. That's why I was away for like 2 months because things got quite bad. But things are a lot better now. Super happy with life. Super grateful for life. Being sober is so cool. I feel like more energized and motivated than ever. I really settled in my house now, which is cool. Super like grateful to everyone like in the team for like understanding, Chris, Tasha, Tandy, obviously. So yeah, everything's all good now. Everything's all good. And yeah, I was 1 month sober 2 days ago, so Monday. was 1 month sober. So yeah, everything's going really well. So thank you for you guys. I got so many messages when we were away, of people just reaching out and saying like, hope you're okay and we miss you and stuff like that. And that was awesome to see. Like, that really helped, because it was really nice to hear like people appreciate what we do, and the whole team put in so much effort for what we do here. You know, Tasha with the thumbnails and the production side and the Saturday show, Chris who edits every single podcast, and you see how clean it is and all the inserts. Like, it takes a lot of time, and we have like one of the best looking podcasts, I think, on YouTube. Obviously Tandy, just being the queen she is and like hearing me out and just being patient with me. So yeah, I'm really excited for the rest of the year. We've got some really cool things coming up. We're going to do more stuff like this. We're going to do more different types of content. I can't wait to get back into different characters, put the wigs back on, all of that stupid stuff. Like, I really can't wait. So yeah, thank you guys for like sticking with us and being patient with us. We appreciate it. And yeah, there's going to be plenty more where that came from. And thank you for all of the messages I'm seeing now. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate all of you. But yeah, I'm going to go because I'm shy now. But thank you for watching. If you've been watching this far and you're not subscribed, make sure you do subscribe. Hit the like and subscribe button. Really appreciate it. And yeah, we'll be back. I'm not going to be around tomorrow. Well, I'm not going to be around probably until next week, because I'm going away for a stag do sober. Let's see how that goes. But we'll try and get out some stuff where we can. But remember, no matter what life throws at you, keep it on the black stuff. Toodle pip. Goodbye.